Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping straight into something fascinating. Digital twins in construction.
That's right.
And our sources for this come from Aerial Decisions. They've done some great work looking at how drones are, well, making construction smarter.
Exactly. And our mission today really is to unpack what these digital twins actually are.
Yeah, why should people care? Why are they such a big deal for construction?
And crucially, how drones fit into the picture, how they help create and, actually use these things.
Think of it as your quick guide, your fast track to getting a handle on a technology that's genuinely transforming things.
Precisely.
Okay, so let's get right to it then. In simple terms, what exactly is a digital twin?
Okay. So think of it like a dynamic digital copy, a replica of something physical. That could be a building.
Like a whole building.
A whole building, yeah. Or maybe a specific system inside it, like the HVAC or even, a big infrastructure project like a bridge.
But you said dynamic, so it's not just a static 3D model you can spin around on a screen? What makes it different?
That's the key thing. It's alive. It's not just a picture. A real digital twin is constantly pulling in real-time data from the actual physical thing.
Real-time data, like what?
Sensor readings, information on how people are actually using the space, how the building systems are performing right now. It mirrors the physical asset's current state.
Okay. Now, we hear a lot about BIM, building information modeling. People have used that for years. How does this digital twin compare? Is it just like BIM 2.0?
Not quite. They're related, but different. BIM is super important, don't get me wrong. It's usually that initial digital plan, right? Created during the design phase, maybe pre-construction.
Yeah.
Great for planning.
Right. The blueprint stage.
Exactly. But a digital twin, it takes that BIM model as maybe a starting point, and then it evolves. It lives and breathes throughout the building's entire life.
So it keeps getting updated.
Continuously.
Yeah.
With real-world data from the actual building in operation. So BIM is the plan. The digital twin is the living reflection.
Okay, I think I'm getting it. BIM is the foundation. The twin is the skyscraper built on top, constantly changing. You used an analogy before. Something like a Fitbit for your building. Does that help?
I think it does. Yeah, absolutely. Just like your Fitbit tracks your steps, your heart rate, all that.
Gives you a picture of your health.
Right. A digital twin monitors the building's performance, its energy use, its system health, giving you ongoing insights into how it's doing, its operational health and efficiency.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we know what it is. How do you actually make one? Where does all this information, this data, come from?
Now this is where it gets really interesting, especially when you look at what companies like Aerial Decisions are doing. A digital twin needs diverse data. And drones, they're absolutely central.
Drones? Okay, how so?
They capture incredible detail.
Yeah.
High-resolution photos for visual context, LiDAR scans.
LiDAR, that's the laser scanning, right? For precise measurements.
Exactly. Super precise 3D spatial information. Crucial for accuracy. And they can even capture thermal data.
Thermal, like heat signatures.
Yeah, just about things like insulation gaps, water leaks behind walls, or maybe equipment that's overheating before it fails.
Wow. So drones are like these versatile eyes in the sky feeding all sorts of data into the twin. I guess they're not the only source.
Oh, definitely not. You've got the whole Internet of Things, IoT, sensors embedded everywhere in the building.
Like thermostats.
Thermostats, humidity sensors, light sensors, security systems, occupancy sensors. Then you've got data coming directly off the construction machinery itself, telematics,
Like how long a crane has been running.
Exactly. Operational hours, fuel consumption, location. Plus, you still use ground-based laser scanners for really detailed interior scans. Maybe 360-degree cameras for visual walkthroughs. It's a whole ecosystem of data.
It really sounds like a constant flood of information. Let's circle back to the drones for a second. What makes their role so unique or important here?
Speed and scale, really. Their ability to scan massive construction sites quickly and accurately is just, well, it's unmatched by older methods.
Right. Trying to survey a huge site on foot would take ages.
Weeks, maybe. A drone can capture comparable data, sometimes better data, in hours. This speed means the digital twin can be updated much more frequently, reflecting the actual current state of the site, not how it looked last month.
That makes sense. Faster updates mean a clearer, more current picture for decision-making, and presumably it reduces the need for people physically walking the site all the time.
Precisely. Fewer surveyors on the ground improves efficiency, naturally, but it also boosts safety. Less time spent in potentially hazardous construction zones.
Good point.
And a really important technical point. The data from drones, like point clouds from LiDAR or orthomosaic photos, integrates pretty seamlessly now with standard BIM platforms. So you get this smooth workflow from the design intent to the as-built reality captured by the drone.
Okay, so we've got the what this living digital replica, we've got the how drone sensors, lots of data. Now, the big word, why? Why should people in commercial construction actually invest time and money in this? What's the payoff?
The payoff is huge, and it spans the entire life cycle. Think about this statistic. Something like 80%, 80% of a building's total lifetime cost and its value is actually realized after construction is finished, during its operational life.
80%. So the building phase is just the beginning.
Exactly. Digital twins are fundamental to managing and optimizing that long operational tail, but they also offer massive benefits during the construction phase itself.
Okay, let's break that down. What are the wins during construction?
Well, first off, much better project tracking and visualization. You're not just looking at static drawings or spreadsheets, you're seeing a near real-time digital version of the site.
So you can spot problems earlier.
Definitely. Identify potential delays, see if work is deviating from the plan, track progress against milestones visually. This helps keep those key metrics cost, schedule, safety, quality aligned. KPIs.
Like a dynamic dashboard for the whole project. I can see how that would help everyone stay on the same page too.
Absolutely. It hugely improves remote collaboration. The architect in one city, the engineer in another, the owner overseas, they can all be looking at the same current, accurate digital representation of the project.
So less confusion, fewer meetings maybe.
Potentially, or at least more productive meetings. Plus, analyzing the model can proactively find clashes. Like, is this ductwork going to hit that steel beam? Finding it that digitally before it happens on site saves enormous amounts of time and rework costs. Facilitates change management, too.
Avoiding those on-site clashes sounds like a massive saving right there. Okay, now let's shift focus. What about after the building's handed over, the long term, that 80% value part? What do digital twins do then?
This is where they really shine for the owner or operator. They become invaluable tools for optimizing facilities management.
How so? Like scheduling maintenance?
Exactly. More efficient maintenance planning, better resource allocation. You can analyze energy usage in detail, identify waste, track progress towards sustainability goals like LED certification, maybe reduce the building's carbon footprint.
That data must be gold for planning too.
Oh, absolutely. Real-world performance data informs capital planning, knowing when systems are likely to need major upgrades or replacement based on actual wear and tear, not just guesswork.
And that Fitbit idea comes back here, doesn't it? Monitoring the building's health.
Precisely. It enables predictive maintenance, instead of waiting for the air conditioning to break down on the hottest day.
Which always happens.
Right. The digital twin, analyzing sensor data, might flag an anomaly weeks in advance, allowing for proactive repair during scheduled downtime, minimizing disruption, saving money, keeping tenants happy.
This sounds incredibly powerful. To make it even clearer, maybe we could look at some specific real-world examples. Where is this actually being used?
Great idea. Aerial Decisions points to some really compelling cases. For instance, there's a high-rise developer, I think in LA.
Los Angeles. Okay.
Yeah, using drone LiDAR to build their digital twin. They use it, obviously, for tracking construction progress with high accuracy. But they also use the twin to simulate energy loads for different potential tenant configurations.
So they can figure out the energy impact before a tenant even moves in.
Exactly. It helps them optimize the building systems for efficiency and even market that efficiency as a selling point. That's hitting both construction and long-term operational value.
That's a brilliant example. Okay, what's another one?
Think about a big logistics facility, like a warehouse or distribution center.
Okay, lots of movement there.
Precisely. They're integrating drone data into a digital twin to model how employees and maybe autonomous forklifts move around the warehouse floor.
Why would they do that?
To find bottlenecks, to see where workflows get jammed up, and then use the model to test out different layouts or process changes to optimize the flow, boost productivity, make things safer.
So it's not just the building itself, but how the space functions with people and equipment in it. That adds another layer. Maybe one more example.
Sure. Hospitals are a fascinating area. They're using digital twins for all sorts of operational efficiency gains, like tracking the real-time location of critical mobile assets, wheelchairs, infusion pumps, stuff that always seemed to go missing.
That would save nurses so much time.
Huge time saver. And even more critically, they can use twins to run simulations for things like infection control modeling, airflow patterns, or patient movements to minimize risks.
Wow. From skyscrapers to warehouses to saving lives in hospitals, it's incredibly versatile. And it sounds like in every case, that regular drone data capture, aligned with BIM or CAD standards, is kind of the bedrock.
It really is. That consistent, accurate data stream from the drones keeps the digital twin grounded in reality, making it a reliable tool for making those important decisions.
Now, thinking about the world today, with remote work being so much more common, global events causing disruptions, it feels like this technology would be even more valuable now.
You've absolutely nailed it. The last 2 years especially have thrown the value of digital twins into sharp relief. In a more remote, sometimes restricted world, they've become almost essential.
How do they specifically help with that remote aspect?
Well, think about it. A digital twin allows for really effective decision-making without everyone needing to physically be on the construction site.
So you can manage things from afar.
Exactly. It enables things like virtual site tours, an investor on another continent, an inspector dealing with travel limits, an executive team wanting a progress update. They can all walk the site virtually through the digital twin.
That must streamline things massively. Better communication, faster decisions.
Definitely. It improves accessibility and keeps everyone connected and informed, regardless of physical location.
And that ability to keep things moving remotely, that must also make companies more resilient when unexpected things happen, right?
That's a huge benefit. Organizational resilience.
Mm.
When you face challenges, travel bans, labor shortages, whatever it might be, the digital twin provides that continuous stream of accurate site information. Operations can continue, critical decisions can still be made, even if getting people to the site is difficult.
It really feels like we're just scratching the surface here. Looking ahead, what's next? What does the future hold for digital twins in this space? Any exciting developments coming down the pike?
Oh, the future looks incredibly dynamic. One major trend is the deeper integration of artificial intelligence, AI.
AI and digital twins. How does that work?
Well, imagine AI algorithms analyzing the constant stream of data within the twin sensor readings, drone imagery, progress reports. They could provide powerful predictive analytics.
Like predicting problems before they happen.
Exactly. Automated alerts for potential issues, maybe flagging a subtle pattern in vibration sensors that indicates a machine failure is imminent, or spotting a potential safety hazard from analyzing site photos. It moves from just monitoring to actively predicting and alerting.
Wow, that's moving towards much more proactive, maybe even autonomous building management. What else is on the horizon?
Sustainability is another huge driver. Digital twins are becoming increasingly vital for things like LED reporting.
The green building certification.
Right. Providing the detailed data needed to verify energy performance, water usage, materials tracking. And also, for sophisticated decarbonization modeling, figuring out the best strategies to reduce a building's carbon footprint over its lifetime.
That makes sense given the focus on climate change.
Definitely. And looking even broader, there's the potential for integration into smart city concepts. Imagine individual building twins connecting, sharing anonymized data maybe to help optimize energy grids, traffic flow, emergency response across an entire urban area.
A citywide digital twin. That's a big vision. And what about the drones themselves? Will they keep getting better too?
Absolutely. Drone tech isn't standing still. We'll see more advanced sensors, better thermal cameras, multispectral imaging that can reveal even more about material health or vegetation stress.
Multispectral, like seeing different wavelengths of light.
Exactly. And also more autonomy. Drones capable of flying pre-programmed 3D mapping missions entirely on their own, maybe even docking and recharging automatically, providing almost continuous data updates with very little human intervention.
It really paints a picture of a future where our understanding and management of buildings is just fundamentally different.
I think that's right. Making the leap from static, often outdated 2D drawings to this dynamic, data-rich world of digital twins.
Yeah.
It's truly a significant shift for construction and building operations. It offers just unprecedented levels of insight and control.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful, and we should definitely acknowledge Aerial Decisions again for providing the groundwork, the insights that really fueled this deep dive today.
Yeah.
Their work on drone-enabled digital twins is clearly pushing the boundaries.
Yes, their perspectives were invaluable for this discussion. It's clear they're at the forefront.
And for everyone listening, as we wrap up, here's something to think about. We've talked a lot about construction, but these core ideas creating a real-time digital counterpart, integrating diverse data streams, how could you apply those principles? Think about other complex systems or challenges, maybe in your own work, maybe elsewhere. Could this concept of a living digital representation offer new ways to understand and manage them? It's definitely food for thought. Until our next deep dive.